Hello and welcome back to your favorite podcast, De-Influenced. Hi, Jordan.
Hi. Curly hair today.
Oh my God, you noticed.
Of course I noticed.
I
think you should let it down.
No. I was diffusing it before, and I haven't pulled out my diffuser in so long because
What's a diffuser?
Diffuser is it helps. It adds what am I saying?
Texture.
No. Oh my God. No.
Moisture.
Humidity.
Oh.
It adds like humidity to your hair.
Huh.
So it does the opposite of what most girls want, because humidity is good for curls. Gives like hydration and helps your hair curl. And so I had like every intention of wearing it down. But when I got done with that thing, I literally looked like I'd been electrocuted. It was giving Albert Einstein. And so I threw it in a bun.
Yeah, you and Stella have the same hair.
I know. No, mine's curlier than Stella's.
Yeah.
By far. Well, how's your Monday doing? How are you doing?
I feel like we have so many good things to talk about. I have so many interesting things to say this week.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Well, Danny, what's been going on in your week?
Okay. My week has been good, mainly because my kids love me a lot.
They do love you. They love you so much right now.
And you love me again. So I feel like life is good.
Yeah.
How does it feel? I do want to know, like, when Stella favors me, what does that make you feel like?
I don't mind.
I know. That's how I feel like whenever Stella goes through phases where like you're her like number one. It doesn't bother me.
I think one of your like old therapists told you that like 0 to 5 is all about the mom, and then 5+ is like where the dad, like they start favoring the dad.
No.
Oh, that's been in my head.
Yeah.
Well, if that's not true, then yeah, maybe I am a little offended.
No, I think it's more so like Stella's just like a girl's girl.
She's a girl's girl.
She's a girly pop.
But also we've talked about this. Like, I think that I need to start playing it cooler with her.
You try too hard.
I try too hard with Stella. Stratton, I try too hard too, but he loves it.
Yeah.
He's like all about it. He's like, oh, you want some love? Here, let me give it to you. Stella, if I show her that I want it, she shuts down.
Stratton is very sensitive.
Yeah.
I'm learning that's the difference. Like Stratton is like you and Stella is like me.
Mm-hmm.
And Stella and I are more independent, and Stratton needs more.
Yeah. He's he follows and copies literally everything that she does.
Everything. But I think that's normal.
Yeah, it's probably normal. But yeah, our kids are obsessed with you right now.
Yeah, they really are.
It's pretty great. It's so
pretty
great.
It is pretty great.
Because you used to be sad whenever Stella was like a newborn, right?
Yeah.
And like you kind of expected, oh my gosh, like this level of affection, and now it's just great.
It's really cute.
It's a happy home.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I feel like this needs to be discussed in a long form format. What did you think about Morgan Wallen?
So we went to Morgan Wallen the last time that we podcasted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited to see Morgan Wallen. I love his songs. I don't really know too much about him as a person, except for that he's had some like royal F-ups. I just know that he's like not becoming the best version of himself.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, fame and money, that'll do it to you. But I think we're just all like, okay, like we're ready for you to have like your comeback as a human being.
Yeah.
And then he just like makes another mistake. And so I was like, okay, we can put all of that aside and like, let's just go enjoy the music. I will say I was like a little disappointed in the concert. Like, for example, like if someone asked me, should I invest my money and buy a ticket and go, I would probably be like, you don't have to. You didn't miss out on anything like revolutionary. Like if you said, do I need to go see Kenny Chesney? Yes, absolutely. Do I need to go see Taylor Swift? Without a doubt, you got to go. Even NF. Even who's my other guy? Noah Khan. Yes, you should go. But like this concert was just one that I could have passed on, and like my life would have been the same. And it is so rare for me to go to a concert and not leave being obsessed with the artist, even if they're not that good in person. Like I still always leave it. I'm like, man, I just love them. I just love them because I feel like you get to see like a different side of them and you get to see their personality. You get to see their mannerisms. I was first of all so disappointed that the AT&T Center didn't put him on like the Jumbotron. So like we didn't have like great seats. We were pretty far back and I could not see him the entire time.
Yeah.
They barely put him on the screen. They kept putting his guitarist. And I was like, why do I don't want to see the guitarist. And then they had these like weird graphics that looked like they were like from the 90s.
Yeah.
It was like, it seemed like we were at a Backstreet Boys concert.
Or a Creed concert.
A Creed concert. And, you know, he only gave us one outfit change. I was a little disappointed about that. I didn't love his outfit to begin with. It was like small print and it's like, dude, you're on a big stage. We need like big print. Like you shouldn't wear something small print.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just like fashion. And so he walked out with Troy Aikman, which was cool. I know he's kind of like, known for his walkouts. He walked out with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Peter Mahomes. Peter Mahomes. Go Sports. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I just also didn't feel like he was just giving us his all.
It seemed like he was there to do a job.
But I think whenever you are struggling with mental health and you are struggling with maybe it is alcohol, whatever it is.
I
like,
think it's alcohol.
He's just there to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did like the math and I think he makes about, and I don't know what he personally nets, but I think he's making like $14 million a show.
Mm-hmm.
When we averaged out each ticket is $250 with the amount of people in the stadium and then plus like alcohol and all of, the merch and everything. It's like we rounded to like 14 million. And so it's crazy. Like when you think about when he cancels a show, he's losing out on 14 million each time. And he cancels a lot of shows, which shows you it's serious. Like when he's canceling something and like he's losing 14 million, like it's a big deal. So I think he just showed up, he did his job and like good for him for at least showing up,
Well, I think you and I both understand how the hamster wheel works. And it's like, you got to think about how many people are pushing him every night. Just get up there and manipulating him and being like, oh, well, if we do this, we can go here and you can enjoy this. Like every bit of his actions, like throwing a chair off the roof, like screams to me like, I need help. Like, but I don't know that I need help. Right?
Or I don't have people around me to help me.
Or to help me, they're just pushing me to make money because this is supposed to be my dream and I'm supposed to be so thankful, but I'm really just on this hamster wheel that I kind of just wish I could be back in Tennessee chilling.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it as he has a team around him that when he is weak, he cancels a show. And that's a huge deal. And so like maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at least he showed up and did the job, like bare minimum. You could look at it both ways.
No, I think I'm not blaming him. I think he's pushing through the best that he can, but I think that he is on a hamster wheel. The other, I think, piece of data that supports my argument is like you were telling me that he doesn't write any of his songs.
Okay, first of all, he is listed as an author, or like as a lyricist on all of his songs.
Right.
But each one of his songs has different lyricist that he collaborates with.
And Danny's like a forensic investigator when it comes to
writing
like what
lyrics.
this means. Yes. So what does that mean, Danny?
Well, from my perspective and my point of view, I do not know if this is factual, so don't like take it for, but it makes me feel like he shops songs around. And because when you look at his album and everyone that's contributed, each song has like a new face. There's not like a pattern. Like if you look at Taylor Swift's album, there's like 3 contributors, like, and they're always the same. And which makes me feel like she's sitting down in a room and like working with people on this album. And country music is kind of like, I wouldn't say notorious for, but it's known for, Miranda Lambert will write a song and then give it to this country artist. Like there's just, they pass songs around a lot. And yes, I do not believe that Morgan writes all of his songs.
Yeah.
I don't think he claims to.
No, I don't think he claims to either, but that furthers my argument that I feel like he's on this hamster wheel that is not of his making. Like, he started on The Voice. Did you know that?
I've watched his audition.
So he auditions on The Voice and he probably is like, you know what? I'm just this Tennessee boy that wants to be a singer, right? So he goes on The Voice and he, I think, identified as pop at first on The Voice, right? Like he wasn't doing country.
He was pretty country.
Oh, he was country?
Yeah.
So then he gets into the country music scene and someone in the business figures out how to make him a star. So gets him with the best writers. He's now churning out these albums and he has the most hits
Yeah.
of anyone, right?
Yeah.
I'd be curious if Luke Combs writes his own music.
I don't know.
But there's a level of like ownership that I feel like he lacks over his music.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen. Like he's disconnected from Morgan Wallen, the star, from Morgan Wallen, like the actual artist. Does that make sense?
It did feel that way. It didn't feel like there was like so much pride behind each song, but that probably happens when you don't write your songs. Like Taylor has like so much pride over every single song because she's like, I remember what I was wearing in my sweats crying when I wrote this lyric.
Yeah.
Like there's so much heart behind each song.
And I think that we're already seeing more Morgan Wallen just become the product and the brand. And that's how I felt in his show is like, he tried to kind of make it sentimental. He was like, these are the bleachers from my high school, but it felt very contrived to me.
It did.
It was like you had a manager that's trying to help you create community within your audience and trying to position you as this like small town kid, which you are, but there's no heart in it. There's no ownership in it. And I think that that's what I've felt the most about the Morgan Wallen concert.
My biggest disappointment was like, I just feel like I didn't get to know him. Like, I just want to get to know you.
But like, here's the question. Do you think Morgan Wallen knows Morgan Wallen? Like, or has he just become this person that the business and the industry has made him?
It's a good question because everything he touches turns to gold.
But is that him? He probably deep down, and this is what I think.
It's like John Mayer.
Right.
John Mayer, because John Mayer like was huge. He had so many huge pop songs and was like killing it. But he was like, at the end of it, after like 3 or 4 like huge albums, he was like, this isn't me. And then he switched to like blues music.
Yeah.
And moved to Montana and like does these weird Instagram lives all the time.
Well, it's so funny. But he admittedly said like, I was becoming someone that I wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that what people look at Morgan Wallen and they say is they're like, you should be so much more grateful. You're on top. How are you so unhappy? Why are you throwing chairs? You're a multimillionaire. But I think what most people who are not in the business don't understand the cost of getting there, right?
Yeah.
So losing yourself, becoming this person that like everyone knows, but no one really knows. And it just feels like.
I wonder if he's a 3 on the Enneagram.
Maybe, but I find that like, you know, the reason I think alcohol plays such a big role in this is because it's like he probably has to drink just to kind of get through a lot of these feelings that he's feeling and a lot of the pace that he's being forced to run at.
And the only way that he'll be able to like come out on top is if he stops completely, which it's really hard to stop when you're on top of the world. Mm-hmm. Like it's nearly impossible. To be honest, if I was a musician, I'd probably be like Morgan Wallen.
You see yourself in Morgan Wallen.
I think I would be more like him, or like I would lean towards maybe like more Selena Gomez vibes, like that career path of just struggling. I don't know if I would be able to be like a Taylor Swift.
Well,
maybe. No, probably not though.
No, I mean, it shows you how rare a Taylor Swift really is.
I know, but we won't talk about her because I talk about her 24/7.
But a component of it is like the ownership that you feel over how you build your brand. Like I think that the more commercialized
the pride and the integrity that you feel behind your art.
Yeah. I mean, I get scared to talk about her because apparently she's got like the beehive. But Beyonce, like I kind of feel like Beyonce has been commercialized in the same way.
Where, I don't.
Really? You think her heart is completely behind every one of her songs?
100,000%. Like Lemonade? Was that the album?
Yeah, but like
that was so.
How many co-writes does she have on her music though?
It doesn't matter. That was a masterpiece. That was like an artistic masterpiece. And like you don't create something like that if you're not behind it.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, it was amazing. Like even I didn't go to her tour, but like that girl has some say over what she's doing and she cares. Like 100%. And I don't know if she's writing her own songs. And that's the thing. I don't think that you have to write all your own songs to be the most amazing artist. I think you just have to like own your craft and like love what you do. And like, even if it's like producing your concerts or your music videos or whatever it is, you have to be like really invested and not just like have a song thrown at you and go perform it.
For
like
sure.
That's not to me that, and you know, he's a great singer and he really is so talented.
Yeah.
But I think that nowadays there's so many great singers and there's so much talent. Like people want more. Like we want depth. We want stories. We want to get to know you. Like it doesn't work anymore to just like sing a hit song.
Yeah.
Like, it does. It works for him, obviously. But like for me, it doesn't work for me.
I
need
will
more.
say no artist, maybe Kenny Chesney, has as many hits as he does. Like I went in.
No, I
kind
don't
of
think that anybody does.
No, I went in kind of as an amateur follower of Morgan Wallen, and it's crazy how many songs are played that I was like, oh, I've heard this. I didn't know this was him.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
crazy.
I'm just like really rooting for him. Like I really hope that he's okay. I really do.
We should call him.
I'm like, do you want to call my podcast?
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's talk.
Who is the real Morgan Wallen? He just starts crying on the podcast.
Oh my God.
We get clips.
Sweet
We blow
baby.
up. We're bigger than Joe Rogan.
I also have a hard time because of like the amount of TikToks of like girls that come out and say that they've like made out with him or hooked up with him.
Oh yeah.
Like it's everywhere. Like every time I go on TikTok, it's like Morgan Wallen singing at my concert when I was in his bedroom last week. And I just like, there's so many. They're all over the place.
I've never seen these.
And it's so funny because all the girls like look the same. Like he definitely has a type. And yeah, that part really gives me the ick.
It's tough, yeah.
It's tough for me to get past. But John Mayer was like that too. He was pretty horrible.
Yeah. He moved to Montana.
Yeah, I'm over that too. Like I'm like on his side again. I'm like, I love you again.
I want to watch some of these lives. Are they funny?
He's a weird man. I think he's a genius.
Yeah.
And so like
he's probably like quirky strange.
Yeah. So he's just, Jessica Simpson writes about this in her book about dating him. And she just said that like basically dating John Mayer, it was like embarrassing 24/7 because he would just flaunt his intellect and the way he spoke and everything like 24/7 and just made her feel like the dumbest person ever.
Like intentionally made her feel dumb or?
Yeah, that's what she said in the book.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are we sure though? That seems really mean.
No. John Mayer, if you've ever watched any interviews, yes. He's an a-hole. He is an egomaniac. He is an a-hole. Like he's so mean in some of his interviews.
Well, let's give him some chance. Maybe.
No, I know he moved to Montana. That's why I respect him because he saw it and he was like, I got to get out of here. Like I got to get out of the spotlight. And he moved to Montana and I think he's probably a better person. So that's why I said I like him now.
Yeah, I'm going to start following him on Instagram.
So we had Morgan Wallen, then we had a photo shoot. We had, I was there all day long, but it was a fun photo shoot. It was sweet because the kids came and like they stayed for like 30 minutes. Brenda brought them for a little bit and they got to see me like,
And mommy at work.
I love doing
that.
my thing. Like it was really sweet. Cause then I come home and Stella's like, Mommy, I saw you on the cameras. Mommy, your hair looked beautiful. Mommy, I love your outfit. Like she's so cute. So that was really sweet. It was a hard day just being pregnant.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just like, I was so looking forward to the second trimester and the energy's not hitting me. I take a nap every day, right?
Yeah, you're a sleepy girl.
I'm a sleepy girl. It's like I probably sleep 1 to 2 hours every single day, like around 2:00.
And honestly,
2 to 4 is like my time.
I'm running out of hobbies. I mean, I am a level 25 master Catan player and I'm bored. I'm on to the next thing. I don't
want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm over it.
Can I ask you a question about the photo shoot? I don't know if this is relevant, but you wrote down a note, mom hate about hand on belly. Is that from the photo shoot?
No, this has just been a theme this pregnancy, which I don't remember this being a topic of conversation when I was pregnant with Stella or Stratton, but people are like very confused about why pregnant women touch their bellies in photos. Huh. And I would say 80% of the DMs I receive about it are nice. People are like, can I ask you a question? Like, why do you put your hand on your stomach when you take a photo when you're pregnant? And then other people are like, you look stupid. Like, why would you put your hand on your belly when you're pregnant taking a photo? Even to the point where I got one yesterday, which was like, this is so selfish of you to put your hand on your belly at Ellie's baby shower. You barely have a bump. This is her day and you're taking away from her moment. Like, poor Ellie. And I'm like, dude, First of all, me and Ellie have for the past 3 years like dreamt about being pregnant together. Remember I told you I was like, Ellie, when you get pregnant, I'll start trying for my third.
Yeah.
And the timing was just like perfect. And we've always planned on that. So literally like as soon as Ellie got pregnant, I was like, okay, babe, like we got to go, which I wasn't ready just yet, but we gave it a couple of months and
Yeah.
then we went for it. And so it was just like baffling to me that this is so confusing for a lot of people, but most of the people are very sweet about it. So what I said in response was there's many reasons why a pregnant woman puts their hand on their belly when they take photos. Number one is I want to look back at my pictures and be like, oh, remember that? Like I was pregnant then. Like, and you want to like remember because your entire day you feel not yourself. Like you're reminded 24/7 that you are pregnant. Every single time I brush my teeth, y'all, I am dripping blood from my gums bleeding because I'm pregnant. My stomach hurts 24/7. My lower back started hurting. I'm not trying to complain. Like I'm just telling you like that when you're in it, like there's never a moment where you don't remember that so when you are taking a photo, you're like, I'm going to remember this season of pregnancy because like not only that but like I can already see like my nose is starting to get a little just you notice like little things about you that are changing, so it's like well I want to also remind myself
What's
that Danny
with your nose?
yeah, like just your nose starts to get split, it starts to get bigger, like it gets wider.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's like
a known thing.
yes.
You
And
know what was not a known thing for me?
what
It's Saturday night. Okay. No, Friday night. We come back from dinner. Danny and I are about to make out. She's like, let me brush my teeth first. She starts brushing her teeth. And I'm like, this is going to happen tonight. I feel it. It's coming. She spits, turns around and smiles at me. And it's like a scene from The Exorcist. Her mouth is just bloody. Her teeth are dripping blood. And I was like, oh. I mean,
my
we still
God.
did, to be clear, but it took me a second to recover. I was like, you should
babe,
just let
that
these
is
heal.
so superficial.
Babe,
It's just blood.
it's just blood.
Oh my God.
It's just blood.
Man, if that grosses you out, there's so many other horrible things that come with pregnancy, just so everybody knows.
Well, I've been there, done that. I'm just saying.
No, you haven't.
I don't think your gums bled as much during this pregnancy.
As they did with Stratton.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a boy. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's one reason. Also, number two, what do you do with your hands in a photo? It's so awkward. Like this is just like an easy thing that you do with your hands. You don't even have to think about it. It's like so maternal. You like have a human being inside of you. You're like going to touch. I don't know. It's so like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. You just do it immediately. And then the third thing is, which I think is very relatable, is like nobody wants their bump to be confused as like a food baby. And like I'm in that stage where like the bump could be. And so like I want people to know like, yeah, this is a baby, not a food baby.
So the narrative behind why you should not put your hand on your belly is what?
I
Is it just people?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just the internet being
It's
the
just
internet.
being silly. But no, some people truly didn't understand. I honestly think too, as a pregnant person, it looks more flattering
Yeah.
when you have your arms and you have them like out like this and you're holding, like it makes your arms look more defined. Like there's just so many reasons why.
I like start taking pictures. Like that.
yeah. Yeah, no, seriously. And so there's so many reasons, but yet some people are like, that looks so stupid. Like, why would you do that?
That's so.
I know it's so silly.
Stupid.
It's really silly.
I always take pictures with my hands behind my back like this
yeah.
because I don't want anything misconstrued, because it's always like females that come up, say hi, and they're like, oh, let's take a picture. And I'm like, hands behind my back. It's like,
Wait, that is so funny that you think like that.
oh yeah, 100%. Because especially in our clipping culture, it's like, I don't want,
Oh, you don't want people to be like, look, Jordan. Like,
yeah, he's
was
disgusting.
he's touching
Look,
her.
yeah, like, it's just, everything can be misconstrued. So I'm always like, my hands are locked behind my back.
Wait, that is hilarious.
So anyone who tries to take a picture with me,
I have
locked-
noticed that. And I'm like, why are you so standoffish? Like, it's really odd.
No, not standoffish. I am protecting myself.
Wait, I have noticed that. And sometimes it kind of is embarrassing.
What do you mean embarrassing?
You look so uncomfortable.
Babe,
And why would people assume that you want to touch them? Like,
I'm not saying, no, I don't think I'm a creepy, weird person at all. But what I'm
no,
saying
I mean,
is
you're
like,
definitely not. You won't even touch another girl
if
on
you're
the shoulder.
if you're getting hate for putting your hand on your belly, think about the hate that I would get for like putting my hand on someone's shoulder. You get what I'm saying?
I can't imagine.
It's like a male thing. It's
I
like the
can't
same thing where
imagine.
it's like, I generally speaking will not be in like in a professional setting, like a room alone with another female.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like generally speaking, I just avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the internet is so weird. It's like I could just be like, oh, come on in here. Get a
Yeah.
picture with Danny
And
and
then
I.
your
And it,
hand looks like it's in a weird
yes,
position. It's like he's
exactly.
grabbing her boob or something. Like,
Exactly. Like he's disgusting.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
just sometimes when you take pictures and you don't like engage or touch, like I think it looks like you don't want to take the picture.
Okay, well, let's come up right now with what is a better posture, because I've also tried this, my hands folded,
Then like,
and then I just look like I'm trying to be like a cool guy, and so like hands behind back seems very
wait,
like
can you just touch their shoulder? Like
no,
just Jordan,
no,
it's okay, babe.
no,
I give you permission.
never, no. If any female tries to come up to me and get them to touch me, I will give them the X and I will say, "Get away from me,
Now it's gonna
temptress." That's how loyal I am. It's like,
Babe.
get away from me. I know what you're trying to ruin my future political career. Get off me.
Are you gonna run for president?
I don't know, but if I do, I've got no pictures incriminating. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm dead. Now no one's gonna get a picture with you because they're like, we know it makes you
No,
so
now it's going to be like a
comfortable.
running joke where like they're going to come up and like be like, here, put your
We're all gonna take pictures with our hands behind our back.
yeah.
Wow.
No, honestly, so many husbands are probably listening to this and they're like, this guy gets it.
Really? I just don't get that. I've never like taken a picture with a guy and then put their hand around me and been like, ew.
I don't think it's you.
Now,
I think
if they
it's those
touch my
same weirdos
waist-
that are like, oh my gosh, your hand on your belt. It's the weirdos.
No, I think
But
it
those weirdos run the internet. I mean, the internet is run by psychopaths.
like me.
No, you're not running the internet. The internet's running you.
True. Didn't
It's
you?
run by absolute psychopaths. And we all listen like it's like, oh, yeah. That's what most people think.
I just have to say, like, I don't think the hand on shoulder is weird. I think if you touch their hip or anywhere behind or below, honestly, like the clavicle and
Yeah.
down, it's like weird.
Babe, you and I know I did not play sports growing up. I don't have hand-eye coordination. I'm not taking any risk that I'm too low, too high,
Oh my God.
clavicle. Like I'm just going straight
This is
handcuffs.
literally so silly.
It's not.
Okay.
It's silly until it's not. I'm protecting our family. You just don't get it.
Okay. Well, I want to segue into, I asked people on my Instagram stories, like topics that we should cover, because I haven't done that in a while, or just like random questions that they had. And do you want to know what the number one question was?
Yeah. No, sorry. I was thinking about something else that I need to tell you. But yes, what
Yes.
was the number one question?
Everyone wants to know Jordan's take on the stock market collapse.
Really? That's so funny because I don't feel like we talk about like finance that much, do we?
I think they want you to talk finance and conspiracy theories more.
Well, this is a really great opportunity to tell you that I have applied officially to be the co-host of another podcast.
You've said that for like months.
No, I really did. I sent the application today.
Okay. Well,
It's called Money Wise.
okay.
It's on the Morning Brew Network. If everyone can please email MoneyWise or go follow Sam Parr on Instagram and shoot him a DM and say that Jordan should be the new co-host, I would really appreciate it. It's a conversation about finance and money and financial literacy, and I would get to interview really cool people.
This is just so you can really spark your political career.
No, honestly, I feel like there's a desire from the people here for conversations that go beyond this podcast.
Well, okay. Can you give us an example of what you talk about, like the stock market crashing?
Well, the stock. See, now I feel put on the spot. I can't
Well, you're
do
going to talk about things like this.
Yeah. What do they want to know specifically? Like, yeah, it crashed.
Just Jordan's take on the stock market collapse.
Here's what I would say. Can I tell them what our biggest investment is?
Sure.
Ozempic.
Is that our biggest investment?
It's not our biggest.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
didn't
It's
think
not
so.
our, but it's our most successful ever.
Yeah.
So listen, guys, this is not financial advice. That has to be in the podcast. Okay. 2 years ago, I saw all these celebrities. We were hearing about all these celebrities taking Ozempic. And I was like, this
We didn't even really know what it was.
This is going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And we've never taken Ozempic, but like I knew in my mind, I know there's a lot of controversy around it, but like obesity is such a problem in America. I was like, this is like a really needed thing. And so I knew it was going to blow up. So 2 years ago, we invested into EY Lilly.
Yes.
Yes, the research company. And then there's the big one. It's a Dutch company. I forget. And it is just like absolutely exploded. Like it is crazy how much that stock has grown. And so now the stock market has crashed, and this is not financial advice, but we are going so much harder on Ozempic.
Because you're supposed to like buy things up when it crashes, right?
Yeah. When it crashes, the price is so low right now.
Yeah. So everybody go in.
Yeah. I also don't know much about why the stock market crashed, but I do know that the yen in Japan crashed as well.
Yeah.
And it's a really good time to visit Japan.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, should we go?
No, you can get like, apparently you can get like world-class sushi for like $2.
Be really great for me to go pregnant.
It's a great time to go to Japan right now.
Wait, you know, like Tokyo is like my number one place I want to visit.
I know. If our kids were so young, we'd be on a plane tomorrow.
Wait, let's go.
That's such a long flight for our kids. Can they do it?
How long is it?
I mean, isn't it like 3 days?
The longest flight we've been on with our kids is like 3.5 hours.
We're like, they're good.
They're good. We can do
conditioned.
this.
Yeah, no, that's what's been crazy is like I know a lot of people that are going to Japan right now for that reason.
So you're saying your take on the stock market is to buy into Ozempic.
Yeah, and also, so this is also a pro tip. So to be clear, Danny and I are not day traders. We very, very, very rarely buy individual stocks because it's like gambling.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you know a company's going to do? Like,
yeah.
What we are believers in, what are we, Danny? I always ask you. We're boggleheads. Boggleheads. Bogleheads or boggleheads?
We're boogleheads.
So that means that we invest all of our money in the stock market through index funds, which is a broad makeup of the whole stock market. And so when the whole thing goes up, you're diversified to go up. When the whole thing goes down, you're diversified to go down. But it's like, just put your money in index funds, sit with it and let it ride.
What do you feel like out of everything that we've invested in, even outside of the stock market, has been our best investment?
Divvy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one thing that, well, I mean, we own 100% of Divvy, which that's very uncommon for a startup to own 100% of themselves. My biggest, like when we started Divvy, I told Jordan, I was like, I don't want a dime of outside capital. Like I want 100% to be owners and to be responsible for why this company is working or why it's not. And I feel like it really helped because like when a product wasn't doing well, it wasn't because I was like, oh, maybe it's bad marketing or maybe it's like we were like, it's the formula, go back to the drawing board. It's not a good enough product. Like we know why things aren't doing well. And I feel like whenever you have so much capital, you're throwing things at the wall. You're like, oh, well, maybe it needs more ads or maybe it needs more of this and maybe it needs more of that. When at the end of the day, so many brands and so many people like just have bad product and you don't know because you're so lost in all the numbers and the processes that you've built around your formula. And so now we're getting to a point where I'm like, okay, if we wanted to really scale, I'm like, you know,
yeah, because we figured it out.
Because we figured it out and like now we know and I wouldn't be opposed to having some more partners or anything. But I feel like when we decided to invest in Divvy, like it was a lot and it was really scary. That was one of the questions people wanted to ask me. They were like, how come you do so many giveaways if Divvy doesn't make a dime for you? Because I've told people before that like I think they misconstrued what I said because first of all,
what's the I don't understand the connection there.
People are like, you do all these giveaways and you give away so much money, but then you say that Divvy, I guess I've said on the podcast that we don't take money out of Divvy.
Yeah.
And I think people are confused maybe what I said. So what I said was that we own Divvy 100%, but every dime that Divvy makes, we put back into the company. Now, I think for tax purposes, we have to pay ourselves like little salaries, right? Like,
yeah. And we're like on health insurance.
Yeah. So you have to pay yourself a little something, but it's like for me, like very bare minimum. And so what we're saying is like, let's just say that you start a bracelet company and you start with $100, you sell your bracelets, you know, you start with $100 for your resources, your beads, everything. You make all your bracelets, you sell them, you make $1,000. That $900 profit, you just put back into the business. So then you go buy more beads
Yeah.
and then you pay maybe an influencer to talk about your bracelets. And then maybe you hire someone. And so all those $900 doesn't go back in my pocket. It goes back into the company. So that's why I believe businesses are the best investments, because I feel like we know, like, not just saying Divvy, but
Yeah.
like we like to invest in other people's businesses too.
No, but to be clear, like Divvy is a very illiquid asset. Like we don't, it's not like we take the revenue and the cash out of it. It's like it all goes back into it. But the value of Divvy has grown so much, but it doesn't feel like, we don't feel that in our daily lives.
Because we don't touch it.
We don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. People.
But
should know
so
that.
everything that, so they don't know that, but now they know. And then, so when it comes to the giveaways and how like we pay for all those things, that's my business, the influencer business.
Yeah.
Which is so separate from Divvy. They have like totally different teams, totally different operating process. Creative is a completely different team. Like even whenever we do like a shoot for a Divvy launch, the money that comes to like pay for that shoot comes from it comes from Divvy.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to like boost it a little bit, and I'll like throw a little bit more in there just to like spice it up. And so when we do giveaways, that is coming from the Danny Austin business, which also has its own team, its own ecosystem, its own office and everything.
Our hope for Divvy one day, although it's very liquid, is that we want it to be
worldwide.
Well, true, but the best company, the best value, like the best products. And so we pour everything back into it to make it the best, in hopes that one day a partner will come along and say, hey, this makes sense at our bigger company, P&G or Unilever.
Yeah.
Or we bring on a partner that says, hey, we can help you go international. So like we will come in and acquire 30% of the company or something like that.
Yeah. It's so crazy because like when you're going through it, when we first started, I didn't even know like we could get that far. You know?
I know. But I think that one of the things, because I've talked to a lot of the investors in the market, and I think one of the things that I give you total credit for is that methodology of like money will distract you early on from the real problems that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So what's so interesting about the financial market right now is in 2021, all these beauty companies raised all this capital from the beauty investors out there.
They're not even profitable.
They're not even profitable.
They're profitable for 1 year and then they're losing money every single year. And the only reason they can keep up is by raising more money.
Every big brand that you think is just like this multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company that's on the shelves at Ulta or Sephora or what have you, 90% of those are not profitable. They have raised money and they think that money and a strong advertising presence is going to make them profitable one day. And that's what the investors think. But it's been so wild, even just talking to people in the market about Divvy being a profitable company that focused on the fundamentals from day one. They were so burned by those like COVID 2021 companies that it's like hard for beauty investors right now to even know what a golden nugget looks like when they have it.
Well, what happens, okay, so a good example is Allbirds. Remember those sneakers that were made from wool and people went like ballistic over them? Like I think that I could be wrong, but I think they reached like $1 billion valuation.
Yeah, they did.
And they were killing it for like maybe 2 or 3 years. But I think what happened is they got so much money, they threw it into advertising, they threw it into like all these like the sustainability and their marketing. They never came out with another hero product. All they ever came out with was the wool shoe. People are over it. If they didn't have all that distraction, they would know, oh, sales are declining. People are over the wool shoe. Let's come out with a different type of shoe. But it was just, there was so much going on with probably all the investors and all the capital that they were getting. They felt like they had this false sense of like success and security whenever people are over the wool shoe.
Yeah. And honestly, what they used the capital for, and just because they were $1 billion valuation, what most people don't realize is that's a multiple of their revenue. So they're not making $1 billion.
That's not $1 billion in revenue.
It's not $1 billion. They could have been doing 100 million in revenue and had a negative EBITDA margin, which means that they're not actually profitable. But some investors said, this is the new thing. This is the hype thing. This is what happened during COVID when the stock market was so up. We just started throwing money at bad things, right? And so someone could have been like,
or trendy things.
I think a normal revenue multiple is like 3 to 5x. You know, they maybe could have gotten like a 10x.
Can you explain the that
So
because
like if
people
you're
think
doing 50 million in revenue, you do 5x of that, and that's like the value of your company. So
250
250
million.
million,
Okay.
or some investors might come in and say, hey, we're going to value this at 3x, so 150 million.
Mm-hmm.
So like someone could have come to an Allbirds and said, hey, you're doing 100 million in revenue, but you're not profitable. But we think that this is so hyped that we're going to give you a 10x multiple. So just like it's creating a hype chain. It's just sales. Then they got all this capital and they started opening all these retail locations with one SKU,
Yeah.
which was that shoe, the wool shoe. And now it's like we're all just reversing. Same thing happened with Peloton. Peloton was
Oh,
so
so
hot
hot.
during COVID that they got this crazy valuation and they staffed up. And then they were
They
like,
go retail
it becomes an ego thing. You think that like you're on top of the world until you're not.
because you raised like let's just say Allbirds. I don't know how much they raised, but it's probably 200 million.
Yeah.
Like you could do some damage with 200 million.
Oh my
You could
gosh.
open so many retail stores. And then like you walk by these stores in the mall and nobody's in there. They're just
No.
like draining cash. And it's like, you don't know that. You don't know that nobody wants to go there because you had money the entire
Yeah,
time.
the most crazy, and I don't know what you should name this psychological phenomenon, but it's like the phenomenon of like the bigger a company gets, the more removed their leadership becomes from the actual market and customer.
Yeah.
It's like it's so hard not to do. Like even at Divvy, we experience this. Like it's so good for us just to simply like walk through Ultas or go to events where we're talking to customers, because the bigger it gets, you start getting so involved in the complexity and the minutia of things that just don't actually matter, when the only thing that matters is the customer. And
I
like,
think
do
what
you like our products?
the scariest thing for me is like if I ever wasn't involved in product development, like that scares me.
No, the
Like
best thing that we've done for Divvy is kept you locked in this house so that you just develop products
Wait,
all day.
honestly, I just now remembered that's why I wore my hair curly today. We had this new product that I was like trying to see like how my hair would air dry.
Yes.
And that's why now I
I
remember.
honestly think that the smartest thing that we have ever done with Divvy is kept key functions sequestered off,
Well, it's kind
like
of
product development. Like Danny is still incredibly, I always tell people, like accounting, not Danny, right? Sphere of
I like,
genius.
do we make any money around here?
Sphere of genius is product development. Like you just have such a great way of knowing exactly what people like and what they don't like about products.
Well, and the scariest part is like they listen to me and like I go
No.
in there and they're like, what's our next product? And they're like, what? And I'm like, and then so I know, I'm like, I have the authority. So I tell them, I'm like, I want this color. I want this texture. I want these key ingredients. I meet with our scientists because I'm like, okay, what's new out there? Like what's going to actually activate and work? And then like, once we get like the formula figured out, I'm like, I want it to look like this bottle. I want this. It's really hard because it's with product development and our timelines, there's a lot of like push and pull, but that was one of the questions that I got in my Instagram today. It was, why did you discontinue our OG shampoo and conditioner? And that was our original shampoo and conditioner, which people are obsessed with. I'm not going to lie, I used it today. Like the OG shampoo is one of the most amazing shampoos ever. I think what happened and why it didn't do as well as we hoped is because the conditioner wasn't as strong as a player. And so people coupled them together and said the shampoo and conditioner I don't like, when I think that people actually really liked the shampoo.
Yeah.
But like we were very in tune with my audience, and like that was the first time I ever came out with a product that people were like, I got feedback that was like, this doesn't work for me. So immediately I'm like, okay, well, we got to come out with another one. So that's why we ended up coming out with our volumizing shampoo and conditioner. And then we have some other things that are coming out that are kind of solving that problem. But like, for example, well, I just want to say really fast though, if we had, this scares me so much, like it actually gives me like anxiety thinking about. Think about if at the time when we launched shampoo and conditioner, we had $100 million in the bank. We would have blasted the ish out of that shampoo and
Yes.
conditioner. Okay. Like, because why wouldn't you? You have the money. You would just blast it everywhere to launch it. And then people don't like it. You're too far in. You've already spent $10 million to launch this product. Like now you just got to keep riding the fake wave, and like you got to keep pushing it so it's profitable, and then you spend more money and more money. And then 2 years in, nobody likes it, but you spent $50 million marketing this product. Like it literally gives me so much anxiety. And that's what I like really didn't want to happen. And that's why people are always like, why don't you have more SKUs? It's like, we I think when we got into Ulta, we had like 3 SKUs.
But you're so right because
It could have been worse.
well, yeah, it could have been worse. I agree. Pushing a fake hyped product into market is worse than like doing what we did. But like what people don't understand is in 2020, what was that? 2023? Yeah, 2023.
Was it or
We were
2022?
projected to do way more growth that year than we did because when we realized that this product did not work for everyone's hair type, we stopped pushing it. Like we stopped talking about it. We let the people have it who loved it, but we stopped talking about it. And that drastically changed our revenue projections. But like, it's hard to explain to people like that was the right thing to do. But we lost, I mean,
Yeah.
millions, tens of millions of dollars, like in potential on that product. But like,
if you don't have investors, I'm like, who cares?
but you know what what we got back for that cost is the lesson learned that we will never do product development like that again. And I feel like that is why
and
Divi
integrity
stands, yes.
matters. Like, I don't care if people don't like it and it doesn't work for everyone and there's like any type of feedback, like I want to be able to have the flexibility to pivot. I never want to put myself in a position where I have to like stand behind something that people don't like.
Yeah.
Like it would kill me. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
You know what I'm having from an integrity standpoint, reconciling a little bit, and I'm going to get comments about this, so I just want to take it head on, is my distrust of big pharma, but also me going so hard on Ozempic as an investment. I'm aware of the cognitive dissonance, guys. I don't know how to reconcile it. I kind of believe in this drug.
Well, it's,
yeah, I'm a work in progress.
It's helped a lot of people.
I mean, so that's what I think. But then now you got all the like the people coming out saying it's like really destructive and dangerous, and it's.
Oh, is it?
I mean,
I feel like there's a lot of things though that are destructive and dangerous.
I mean,
like the alcohol industry.
Yeah,
it's probably more people are hurting from that than Ozempic, but
okay,
we won't go down that path. Anyway. Wow, that was a tangent I was not expecting.
You know what also is just has been grinding my gears this week, and I need you to kind of explain this to me like I'm 5.
Okay.
I need to understand this Ballerina Farms situation because let me tell you something.
It's so deep.
And I don't know whose side I'm on. I am so angry at this reporter. I am so annoyed and angry at her like intellectual pride to go into a woman's home who has 8 kids as this young 20-something from New York and writing this article. It is the most like,
it's not fair.
You're open-minded, quote unquote, about every lifestyle that exists in New York, but like you're going to go into a rural mom's home with
who's minding her own
kids,
business.
who's minding her own business,
making sourdough bread,
and like with never understanding the complexities of parenthood. And you're going to write an article like that, like. I was going to say something really mean.
Here's the thing, though, you have to remember. People hurt people. Okay. And this is the same thing that I feel about the opening ceremony at the Olympics.
Wow.
And the same thing I feel about this reporter. Somebody hurt them. And
no, I understand, but I'm not going to let her scapegoat off that. She's not a hurt person. She's an ignorant person.
Okay.
She thinks she's intellectual, but she's actually so ignorant.
Okay. So I agree with you. I really do. And I think that she's old enough to take responsibility for her hurt, like get some therapy. And if like you can't project like your insecurities on everybody. Um, the same thing with like the opening ceremony at the Olympics. It's like people it's sad that people attack like Christianity. Like it pains me. It sucks that it's our religion. But I do feel like a lot of these people are probably coming from a place where Christianity one day hurt them. And like one day, like these morals, like this traditional wife lifestyle or this faith was pushed onto them and it ended up hurting them. So they live with this like chip on their shoulder where like their whole lives, they're just trying to prove that like we're trying to like modernize the female and like religion doesn't have to like play into every aspect of our lives. And like they're going to the extreme to prove their point because they were hurt in some way from this traditional lifestyle. Like these trad wives, I think are very triggering for them because they're so scared of being pushed in that direction of like marrying a man that controls you and you have to give up all your dreams and have 10 children. And I think a lot of females like are really scared about that because traditionally and historically speaking, that has been pushed on females for the longest time. Now, I don't think that that is pushed on Ballerina Farms. I don't think that like, I think that's the lifestyle that she chose to live. And I think that's like a totally beautiful thing. I think that people like her, like living in New York are so accepting of these newer lifestyles because like they were never endorsed back in the 60s, 50s. But they almost feel like when people are pushing this traditional lifestyle that they're going back in time and they're losing like their progress on like feminism. And I think that's where they're coming from. Like, I truly think they're like scared, but then like they're so ignorant and they're so like immature about the ways that they communicate their fear and their messaging that it like, it attacks this like beautiful family and like it attacks like this really great thing that's happening over here at Ballerina Farms.
That was a mic drop. You've had a couple of those on this podcast in its history. That was a mic drop. That was very. I apologize for my demeanor towards what's her name?
Megan.
Megan, I apologize. I was triggered by your ignorance. But I understand that you are coming from a place of hurt. And my question for Megan is, I just simply do not understand if one of the core tenets of progressivism is acceptance of other people. Okay. You can take the LGBTQIA plus and you can say we are accepting of this. You can take any other lifestyle that exists in this honey or hodgepodge of lifestyles of New York, but you are still going to not accept the lifestyle of someone who's just minding your own business.
It's ignorant. I agree, but that's why I'm telling you it's like a personal issue that I think a lot of people deal with because historically there has been a lot of oppression to like these communities or females or like the lifestyle that like females are able to live now. Like it was never like that. And so they're just coming, like I said, it's like like you can't.
They feel like it's moving them backwards.
Yeah, I honestly feel that way. And like I'm not like her because I would say I'm way more accepting and I actually really value traditional values. Like I think what Ballerina Farms is doing is actually very admirable and I think it's like really, really cool. But I do relate sometimes with the ways that like I don't want to move backwards. Like I don't want to be stuck at home. Like that's not me. That's not me. I don't want to be stuck at home having 8 kids, making sourdough bread and feeding my family and just worrying about that all day long. That's not me. And so I relate to that side of it maybe. And if I felt like somebody was like pressuring me to do that, I would maybe get a little defensive too, but I don't feel like anybody's trying to like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, who's trying to stop who here? Like, I mean,
well, I think living in New York, you have this like vortex that you're living in where you feel like there's probably so much like propaganda and like media and all that. And maybe they're like not really in tune with like what's going on.
No, I think
in
that's
real
what scares
world.
me the most about just like the environment I feel like we're in is and this has happened to me a couple times where I feel like we are just simply, there's 2 realities that Americans are living in. There's Megan's reality and then there's Ballerina Farms reality. And then you can take the same argument for there's the Republican reality, then there's the Democrat line, the Fox News versus CNN. Like there's so many different realities through propaganda that we are living in that like what is truth is becoming so hard to come by.
Yeah, and she didn't really help spread the truth when it came specifically to Ballerina Farms.
But
Like that
she
was
spread her truth. That's what's so scary is that like when you get into debates or arguments with people like Megan from our based on our worldview, what we are being fed by algorithms and you know our values and things like that, we are truly living in two different worlds where what she did, and I would argue for it's for a smaller percentage of people than ours, but like what she did attacking family, attacking Ballerina
yeah,
Farms was justice, was right to a very, and this is what my argument is,
to a
to a
very
very small minority of intellectually prideful people in New York City or a coastal city.
yeah.
Like that is who she is catering
Well,
to.
she went in with an agenda. She wanted Ballerina Farms to be the face of the oppressed female, the oppressed mom that was living at home and their husbands forcing them. She really, really, and you know from the get-go when you start reading that article, you know she went in with that bias. Like it's so obvious. And it's just, it's not probably happening in the same way it was years ago as it is now. Now women just like there's people that actually want to live this lifestyle and actually really value traditional values. And like she probably can't wrap her head around it. Like I said, it's probably because she was hurt. And I don't think what she did was right. I think it's really disgusting. I think it's wrong. I'm just trying to like understand like where these people are coming from because it's so like to me, I'm like, how could you get there? And so I try to put myself into her perspective and her like view. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is how she got here, you know?
I'm all about that. And like I think on this one, why I feel so fiery is because I just can't simply, unless you're talking about pride and ignorance, I can't seem to figure out how she got there, right? It's like without those two components being involved, I don't understand how you crafted this narrative or wrote this narrative in your head when I'm sure you went to that farm and they're
Can I
probably,
give you an example?
yeah.
I don't even want to be defending her because I think what she did was horrible. I'm not defending her.
No,
Like,
I know you're trying to help me understand, which is what I asked you to do.
yeah, I'm not defending her. Like, first of all, Ballerina Farms, Hannah, is that her name? Hannah Nealman? Yeah, Hannah Nealman. I love the way that she handled the situation. She handled it with so much grace. I think, like, this honestly just helped her out in the end. Like, so many people are coming to her aid and to her support and saying, like, girl, good for you for sticking up. She ended up putting out 2 pieces of content kind of defending her story and defending like basically what happened with this reporter and that she was really blindsided by this reporter painting her as this oppressed wife. And then she took her voice back and wrote a blog post about like really her true story and how she went to Juilliard. She was one of the first ever ballerinas to graduate or to be in school and get pregnant. There was like never a pregnant ballerina at Juilliard, which was a choice that they made. She comes from a family of 9. They both do. Like they're Mormon. This is like what their values are. They knew they wanted to have big family. And ever since then, like she decided like she was going to give up one dream to move on to the next. We as mothers, we all do it. There's so many dreams that like I probably would be pursuing if I wasn't a mom. But being a mom outweighed all the other dreams that I had. And so I am living my dream, even though, yeah, I have a lot of, just like she put her pageant dresses in the garage, I have a lot of things in the garage too that like I don't pull out anymore because that's not my lifestyle because this is my new dream.
Because I'm oppressing you.
Yeah, because you're oppressing me and forcing me. No, and so like it pains me whenever women are so quick to support some women and their decisions, but not quick to support others. And I just feel like there's this consistent theme of it being Christians. Like I just have always felt that way. And I feel like I'm like, okay, when I go back to it, why is it always Christians? Well, probably because Christians hurt them at one point. Like maybe the views that Christianity had on them or like pushed them to do as a child or maybe their family, like it probably, you and I both know that Christians can be horrible. They can be very judgmental. They can be like, and I'm not saying, oh, you're looking at me like,
no, I'm thinking about what you're saying.
It can be very hurtful whenever somebody comes to you with their faith and tells you you're going to go to hell because you're this is. And maybe it is a truth that you need to hear, but it can be really traumatic. And like the way that I think about it sometimes is like, how like I have this like weird thing with like mega churches. I have this weird thing with like really charismatic churches because I literally was locked in a room when I was in second grade and forced to speak tongues, and I wasn't allowed to leave unless I did. And it was like a very weird thing. Like, and it wasn't traumatic by any means, but like I have this like chip on my shoulder, I feel like, when people or like pastors pull out this like super charismatic side where they're like speaking in tongues and want to prophesy. Like, not that I don't believe it, because I know it's biblical and it does, like, it is true, but it's something that I struggle with. And so when I do feel like if I were to meet somebody that is prophetic and saying that they are prophetic and claims that they're prophetic, and if I were to meet them, I might go in with a little bias. It's
Right.
just because of my experience growing up. And so, but that's, once again, that's ignorance on my part. I need to deal with my issues. I need to go to therapy and deal with, you can't blame the world for like your issues. Like, you have to, like, you can't blame your spouse. You can't blame like your parents. I can't blame this church for the rest of my life for having a chip on my shoulder. Like, that's so immature. Like, grow up, get therapy, and like work on yourself. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's where I feel like a lot of these people fall short, is they can't get over it. They just want to blame people and they want to blame Christians. And I think that's why so many people were so accepting of like what happened with the opening ceremony at the Olympics, because they're like, yeah, like we all are individual and we get to live our lives and we get to put naked people on camera. And like, you know, I know that's also in France and like that's like, you know, totally different lifestyle and everything. But I think that people that are okay with it, they're like, yeah, don't push religion on me. Don't push like you did my entire life. Like, and it sucks. It sucks that it's happening to my religion that I would die for, you know? And I hate that part of it. I hate that people that are hurt by Christianity, but like, I'm just trying to see the world for like what it is. Like, I want to see like why people are acting the way that they do. And I think that that would help us maybe have conversations to be like, man, that sucks that you've been hurt by the church, that you've been hurt by faith. Like, I have too, but like, I still believe in it. And like, here's why, you know, because here's the thing, us butting heads and calling her ignorant and calling her an idiot and being like, so what good is that going to do?
Megan?
Yeah. Like,
I didn't call her an idiot.
I know. I'm not saying that like,
I just said F you, and I retracted my statement.
I know, but like this is what happens though. This is why everything is so divisive, because we can't have a conversation about it. We can't be like, Megan, why did you go into like some beautiful wife's home? They have this amazing family, and why did you do that? Like, what's really like deep down in there?
Should we get Megan on the podcast?
Honestly, like I guarantee you it comes from a place of hurt. Well, okay, like let's just go back to also the basics and the things that we should teach our children. Media literacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're really going to believe everything that you read these days? Like, come on. There are no, let me tell you something. There are no trustworthy sources. I think our children are going to
be fine. I think our parents need some help.
Literally. Like
I think our children are going to be like, that's fake. And your mom is like, did you know that if you drink apple cider vinegar, you will
live 10 more years.
10 more years. Yes.
No, like, and no, the scariest thing about like our parents is like, they don't even need like an actual, like, it's just TikTok. It's like Savannah living in Georgia, who's 24 years old, makes a TikTok. And my mom's like, did you see what Savannah said?
She's like, I don't know her, but I trust her.
I trust her. Like, it is.
No, I think media literacy is
like, come on. I don't believe anything these days. And like every single publication has a bias. So like, you have to just know like whatever you're going into, like you got to decipher it for yourself. But it really did upset me. I commented on Ballerina Farms post and I was like, I'm so happy to see that you're getting so much love and support from people, because like, that's how we should be treating each other these days. And like, you know, personally, Ballerina, that is not a lifestyle that I want. I don't want to be milking the cows. I don't want to be baking sourdough bread. I want to DoorDash. I want to go to the mall when I need something. Like, but I love the way that you're living your life, and I have so much respect for it. And I love that your husband is your co-CEO. And even if it is so much more traditional, where your husband is really leading the family, which also is biblical, like, I am totally here for that too. Like, you know?
Yeah. That's my biggest thing, is like, I just don't know why we can't just, oh, that's different than what I want, but still good. I'm good with it.
Yeah. It's because people are hurt.
I'm sorry, Megan. I'm rooting for you.
No,
I can't wait to read your next profile piece.
I don't know if I go that far.
Oh, well, I was just trying to be nice.
No,
are we not there yet as an internet?
No, we don't have to be nice. We can be kind. I always tell Stella, I'm like, yeah. I hate whenever my mom, or like when I was a little kid, everybody's like, you have to be nice all the time. Why do you have to be nice? You need to be kind, but I don't have to be nice all the time. If I'm upset, I can be upset and I'll be kind while I'm upset, but we just don't need to be mean to each other.
Yeah.
It's different. So I never tell Stella you have to be nice. I'm always just be kind. Because
Mm.
like sometimes you don't want to be nice. You want to be sassy. And like she has a personality and like let her feel her feelings.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like I probably like upset some people with that one, but
no, that was really good. That was good. Like preach, queen.
well, you know, going off of that conversation, have you heard about the Italian gymnast sponsored by Parmesan cheese?
Can I ask you a question? Did you really watch the opening ceremony? I never watched it.
I actually didn't watch it consecutively, but I watched enough TikToks where I feel like I watched it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna say this from like I hate when people hate on Christianity. It like bums me out.
Did
because
they
it's
really
like,
though? Or was it
no,
like
no,
symbolically?
No, he said that he did not mean to offend like anyone and he wasn't trying, but he did take his inspiration from who painted the that famous guy that painted the Last Supper?
Lee.
Lee.
I'm not gonna risk this one.
I want to say DiCaprio, Leonardo DiCaprio. Da Vinci.
Da Vinci did?
Da Vinci. He said, I didn't mean to offend anyone. That is so not my heart, but I did take my inspiration from Da Vinci. So it's like, oh, Da Vinci painted the Last Supper. So it's like,
yeah.
And there was like a woman sitting in the middle that had a crown on, which is like power in the middle, then everybody around. And I don't know how many like disciples or how many people were around in the Olympic, but it was very, it looked like the Olympic. Here's my thing. Like, this is what you really have to think about. It's like, if I was the head of the Olympic ceremony and there was a scene that I was creating that was even slightly remotely questionably mocking another religion, like even if it had like one little hint where somebody was like, oh, like, do you think, I would be like, okay, scratch it. Like, because I just out of respect, honestly, for people's religions. Like, you know, I would just be like, it's not worth going there.
Well, don't go there. It's a uniting event, the Olympics.
Yeah, but it's like, but also this is France's Olympics. They're going to do things different than, like, they're going to celebrate their culture and what they believe. And don't they put like naked girls in magazines and stuff? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we don't live there. Like, I don't know.
Show me like your French girl.
You know, and so
yes, they
like
do.
my thing is like, if I was ahead of that, like I wouldn't even go close to touching mocking a religion. So like, why you go there? It's like there's so many different ways you could have gone, and it was a little quirky. I think there were some nuts involved, like literally
balls.
Yeah, I think this guy's balls were out, and like, you know, and like this is the other sad thing. Okay, wait. I just want to say one thing though about no one's going to agree with me on this, but Marie Antoinette, when she was holding her head and singing, so there was this part. Did you see this part on TikTok?
No.
So there's a part where Marie Antoinette is like, her head's cut off because, you know, let them eat cake, and then everybody killed her, and she's holding her head, and the head that she's holding, like her neck is all bloody, and her head that she's holding is singing. And it's like kind of like epic. Like it's kind of cool looking. Like people were so grossed out. I was like, wait, this is kind of cool. But like, I would not have wanted my children to see it, which is like another big thing. Cause it's like, shouldn't we be able to watch the Olympics opening ceremony with our kids? You know, our kids were asleep, but if my kids were up, I would not have been a happy mom.
Yeah.
But then like, she's like singing this like, oh, oh, oh. And then like this like insane rock music comes on, and like all these men are playing from the windows, and there's like big building lights in red, and like fire starts coming out, and I was like, I was rocking my head. I was like, this is so cool. Like I literally do not think anybody else thought it was cool. I think everybody else thought it was the weirdest thing ever, and I was like, this is so tight. Like I thought it was amazing.
Wow.
But I did hate that like table scene. I think that was like really kind of silly.
How far into the Olympics are we? I have not watched a single event. I don't know. It's weird. It almost feels like this Olympics snuck up on us, and I don't know if it's because like none of us watch like cable anymore, and so we missed all the ads, but I'm just not invested in this Olympics. I feel like
a lot of people aren't. I've actually been pretty invested. Are we up?
USA?
I watched USA is up.
Gold and total?
I don't know. I watched a lot of the gymnastics. Like, did you see like the Superman guy come out of Steven? What's his name?
Yeah, the pommel horse guy.
yeah, he killed it. Like, I really enjoyed watching the gymnastics, but I have to say, like, nothing gets me going like track.
Oh,
Like
really?
watching
Mine's
those.
like beach volleyball.
Oh no,
So fun to watch.
nothing gets me going like watching that 100-meter dash because it's over in like the flick of an eye, and it's just so like it's crazy to me. I watched the guy when was his name Lyles
Isn't it
Noah
crazy?
Lyles. Noah Lyles won gold in the USA 100-meter dash, men's 100-meter dash. And he literally looked like a scene from Lightning McQueen. You remember Lightning McQueen in Cars whenever he's like running and puts his tongue out
Mm-hmm.
and like crosses the finish line with his tongue? That's what this guy did. So I actually learned through this 100-meter dash, you don't win unless your torso goes over the finish line. So like three or
Oh,
four other guys had their foot in front of him, but his torso, he leaned in. And so he won by like 0.0005 of a second.
that's insane.
It's wild. And he was like talking a lot of smack. And so it's good that he won. I watched Shakari Richardson.
Uh-huh.
She's a former Dallas gal. I watched her. I think I just watched her qualifying like 100-meter dashes. And she looked pretty good. I don't know if I haven't watched like, she got silver. Oh, she got
One
silver
of
in the final
the
race.
people are really not talking about this, but one of the greatest redemption stories of the Olympics. Do you know what I'm talking about? Scotty Scheffler going from prison to winning a gold medal for golf. No, but there's a lot of tweets out there that are like Texas is carrying this Olympics because it's like
Oh yeah.
Shakari Richardson and then Scotty Scheffler, and I think that
Simone
what the
Biles.
Olympics needs to do better is getting us invested in these athletes before the Olympics, because like I don't really know any of these stories. Like all I remember is from maybe two,
Netflix literally came out with a documentary about Simone Biles like 2 weeks
but
before.
that she's one of the big ones. Like, do you remember? Yeah, I'm just like not invested in any of the stories this year. It feels like the big
But
rivalries
but
or
I feel
anything
like
like
the
that.
only way you can get invested is if you start watching and then you start following these people on social
True.
media. It's all on like who's the rugby player? The Oh, I love her. Ilana Morris or something. Oh my gosh, she is so funny. She's like a rugby
Wait,
player.
sorry. Say her name again.
Alana Mayer. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She is a female rugby player and she has been covering the Olympics like hysterically. She's so funny. Like her whole thing is she goes into the Olympic what do they call it? Like the quarters.
Uh-huh.
They the Olympic Village and like her whole thing is like she's like trying to find a man. And it's like so funny. Like she's amazing. I think they ended up winning a medal too. Was it gold? She's so funny. Like I love following her. So yeah, I feel like you kind of have to be like invested. And then if you just watch the like nighttime, like around like 7 o'clock, the recap of the day, you kind of see all of like the big highlights.
Okay, we'll start watching that.
Simone Biles nailed it. She killed it. Her like the stunts that she was pulling out were so advanced. They'd like never been done before that even if she would have like fallen, she still would have gotten gold because like
Wow.
her stunts were like nobody's ever done them before. And I watched a little bit of her documentary, which was really interesting. You know, there's this thing called the twisties that gymnasts get. And it's like basically when they can't tell where they are, like when they're spinning in the air. And it really messes with their mental. And so that's what happened to her when she went to Tokyo.
Oh, she
She
got the
got the
twisties?
twisties. Yeah. It's like a forbidden word. It's like really bad when you get it because it like is like a mental block. Like you can't perform. And so everybody was like ragging on her because she like, you know, quote unquote quit whenever it was like she could have thrown these stunts, fall on her
Yeah,
head
I
and
think
broken
like
her neck. Like it's really easy for you to say that from your sofa watching her.
you saw that line in the documentary. She said that line.
I probably did.
I think it's better to quit for mental health than I got the twisties, because no one would understand that.
Yeah. I mean, she's pretty amazing. Yeah, so I'm excited to watch. I don't know if they've done the 200-meter dash or all the, oh my gosh, I really got into, what's the thing where they throw the really heavy,
Oh, javelin.
no, shot put.
Shot put, yeah.
Oh my God. Those guys, it's like they're like beast like on top, but then they have like ballerina toes on bottom. It is the funniest thing. I mean, they're so agile on their tippy toes, but then they have these like massive, it's so crazy. Oh my God, you have to watch it.
So crazy.
Yeah, but just nothing gets me going like that. I wonder because I saw an article this morning that Noah Lyles was like the fastest man in the world, but I wonder if that means that they're the fastest man in the world at the current time. Like he surely didn't beat like Usain Bolt's
Well, did he set a world
time.
record?
No.
Oh, so then Usain's probably the fastest
Usain is
still.
the fastest.
He was fun to watch.
Usain.
Hmm.
I how old were we back then?
Well, that was what, 8 years ago?
Yeah. I guess not that.
20s, early 20s?
Do you want to know a history fact?
Yes, always from you.
So before Usain was the world record, there was a man named Jesse Owens. You know anything about him?
Yeah, he was the one who stood with his hand up in the
Yes.
Berlin Olympics.
Uh,
Yeah.
Berlin, yes, 1936. Hitler's ruling
Hmm.
Germany. And a
That's
lot of
wild.
Olympians are like, where do we go and compete? Like, because this is so wrong. And Hitler is trying to get rid of all the Jewish athletes and all of the black athletes. He doesn't want any of them to compete. And the USA is like, absolutely not. Like, we are bringing our Jewish and black athletes. But there's a little bit of controversy there
Hmm.
because Jesse Owens ended up running the 4x4 for a Jewish guy. And they think that it was him. I don't know. Anyway,
Wait.
I'll go into that in a second. And so Jesse Owens is competing in the 1936 Olympics. Hitler leaves anytime that there's like a black person on the field or a Jewish person, like he can't, because he's a POS. And so Jesse Owens ends up winning, setting like a world record. I think he wins like the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, could be 400. I'm not really sure. Um, and he's just like amazing. He also competes in the long jump and he's doing the long jump and he's competing like head to head with this other German guy. This German guy, he ends up beating this German guy and this German guy, I wish I knew his name because I would sound so much more legit, ends up like giving him a high five and running, doing like a victory lap around the stadium with Jesse Owens to celebrate the fact that he won. Even though this German guy lost, he's like celebrating Jesse Owens. Hitler's so mad that when World War II breaks out, he sends his Olympic athlete, the guy that supported Jesse Owens, to the front lines to die in World War II.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you learn this?
Just I go down these rabbit holes.
I know. What platform? TikTok?
Probably Wikipedia. I do love Wikipedia.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so it's really sad because this was brought up at the Divi photo shoot. I don't know why. Because they were talking about these Olympic athletes and what is to come for a lot of them. And then I made this like somber comment and I was like, well, it depends on the country. And like everybody's like, what? And I was like, well, I mean, there are some countries where if you don't perform well and
Yeah.
if you don't win, like not to say that they're going to kill you, but they'll put you in a place where you're going to die, like because you are useless to them now. And so that was something that like, ugh, it's really sad. But yes, a controversy was,
You're like all glammed up and like everyone's in a circle around you and they're like, wow, Danny, tell us more.
yeah, no, literally, I was like, well, did you
And you're
know?
like, and that's why you can't compete for this country because, they're known for.
No, seriously. Or like, I mean, there's a lot of also interbreeding that goes on for the Olympics. Like Russia's like really big into, I don't know if they still are, but like basically, breeding this athlete with this athlete to make another Olympic athlete. Like they do that a lot. As long as with like a lot of blood doping and stuff like that. Like steroids for the females. I don't know if they still do
I
that,
didn't know
but
these countries cared so
I
much.
took a lot of classes about that at UT.
Do you think that the Olympics and like being the leader in gold medals still holds the same amount of like national
Value.
pride and value?
Probably
I don't think
not.
so, but
No, I don't think it holds as much value. I think that it was this like insane sense of power and pride back then when things were so much more like
yeah.
on the floor, guerrilla. Like I think nowadays it's more about like technology.
Yeah.
But so no, I don't think it holds as much, but it still I think matters. I think people take pride in it, but there's so many people that like anyway, I won't get into that. But the controversy over the 1936 Olympics with the US team is that there were two Jewish guys that were going to run I don't know if it was the 4x4, 4x1, it was the relay. And after Jesse Owens had won a lot of his races, they ended up replacing, this goes actually really deep. They ended up replacing the two Jewish athletes with Jesse Owens and another guy. And they think because it was like the guy that was the head of like negotiating the deals for the like Olympics in the USA was like secretly working with Hitler, and Hitler had like basically bought him off, like paid him off.
Just to not let two Jewish athletes compete.
Hmm.
Wow.
And so they think that's why, but then there was like some like, statement or something that came out that was like they were hurt or something, something like
Right.
that to like cover it up. But this guy that was like the head of the Olympic committee was also like I think he was like a commercial like builder. Like he built like buildings, and like Hitler and him like agreed behind the scenes to do business together. And so basically paid him off. And then, yeah,
Dang.
you know me in World War II.
We should
I
have
just
a
can't.
segment on the podcast of just like what Danny's learned from Wikipedia this past week.
Well, you have
That
to,
was, I was hooked. I was engaged that entire
but here's
time.
the thing though about my Wikipedia and my history lessons is I forget them all in a week. So you have to
Well, you
know,
did. You were on fire just then.
you have to like, I have to know what I'm talking. Well, and the reason why it also became relevant is because I don't know if you saw the ad campaign that came out with Bella Hadid when she was promoting, I believe, the 1956 or the 1972 Olympics. I don't know, but she was promoting. It was the Olympics that happened in Munich, and I was mistaken, and I thought that 1972. I thought that she was supporting the 1936 Olympic, like, or 1936 Adidas. And I was like, dude, this is like flat out like wrong. But it was the
Yeah.
1972. But there was like I don't know if you heard about the Bella Hadid thing, but
Mm-mm.
they used her in this ad campaign where they were promoting the 1972 version of the Adidas shoe, which the Adidas is a German company. And I think at this certain Olympics, like 11 Jewish people were murdered. Israeli athletes were murdered in the 1972 Olympics. And then they put Bella Hadid, who has been very outspoken about Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
They put her on the ad campaign. So it's been a disaster.
Oh,
Do you think that Adidas knew what they were doing? Or do you think that it was just like a total oversight?
I want to say oversight, but who knows? It's like,
It's like, how do you oversight that? I don't know, because it's like, do you tie a shoe to the Olympics every
I
time?
mean, there's probably only been a couple really controversial, like historic Olympics where something like that has happened. So like, why would you pick that
And
one?
release it during the Olympics. Like
Yeah.
you would have to tie the campaign to the Olympics, right? You can't just like not like they released it during the Olympics.
Yeah. It's,
But like, are they that calculated? Because like people will see through that.
but it didn't benefit them at all. They're getting probably demolished, right? Adidas.
But like, but they didn't know they were going to get caught.
Oh, so you're saying like subliminally, they just wanted to like put this
I don't
out there?
know. But why did Balenciaga do what they did? It wasn't going to benefit them.
I think Balenciaga, like,
I don't know. I think whatever happened there probably happened with Adidas.
it's crazy. I don't know.
I don't know either. Wow. It's
Whoa.
heavy. It's really heavy to leave on that. You don't want to cover the Italian gymnast sponsored by Parmesan
No,
cheese?
I'm running low.
Oh
on steam.
man, I
Like,
really got into this conversation.
I know you've been look at this. Hour and 26 minutes. You are on fire today. You have any other
Hot takes.
hot takes? Any
All I'll say about the Olympic athlete sponsored by cheese, I have a one really hot take about this. Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah, I do. Maybe tell the story because no one knows what you're talking about.
There's an Italian Olympic gymnast, Giorgia Villa, is going viral for her partnership with Parmigiano Reggiano, the Parmesan cheese company. The gymnast has pictures of her with giant cheese wheels and eating the cheese all over her Instagram. I think it's a great partnership. I'm here for it. My only feedback or my only take on this was my first pregnancy. My pregnancy aversion was Parmesan cheese.
Yes, this is
So
very triggering.
This is a
Maybe
little
you should go write a
scary.
profile piece in the New Yorker.
This is a little triggering to see her sitting on a massive block of Parmesan cheese. It actually gives me the ick, but that's only because that was my pregnancy aversion, which is so random. And if I was sponsored by the Olympics right now, my personal, I think what I would like to be supported by is I would want to be in a big pool of jalapeno chips.
What brand?
Maybe Kettle.
Mm-hmm.
I like Siete. Or honestly, I don't discriminate.
Yeah.
I like any Parmesan chip. Whoa, sorry. I like every jalapeno chip.
Yeah.
I've never met a jalapeno chip that I didn't like. Never. Ever.
Even with seed oils?
Oh, they probably taste better that way, to be honest. Okay. Anyway. Well, thank you guys for listening to our episode of De-Influence. Feel free to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. And we love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.